And the Central Organization of Trade Unions, Cotu, is calling for urgent action, including a possible increase in minimum wages due to the high cost of living driven by a surge in fuel prices. However, the Federation of Kenyan Employers insists that any discussion on minimum wage must consider broader economic factors, including business sustainability, productivity, and the survival of small and medium enterprises, as our Susan Waweru now reports.
Even with the latest reduction in fuel prices, relief for Kenyans remains out of reach. A litre of petrol now retails at 197 shillings and 60 cents, with diesel at 196 shillings and 60 cents, a drop from yesterday's prices that had crossed the 206 shilling mark. But the damage is already done. Across the country, matatu operators have hiked fare prices by up to 25%. Food prices continue to climb and costs remain high, pushing the cost of living beyond the reach of many households.
Sisi wa mama wa chini ambaye tunapika chakula tunafinyilika. Saa ukienda kwa duka unakuta duka vitu zimepanda juu ya mafuta. Tutasaidika aje?
For most Kenyans, salaries have remained unchanged. Yet, deductions such as NSSF and contributions to the Social Health Authority continue to shrink the already strained paychecks. The Central Organization of Trade Unions has now weighed in, warning that workers are bearing the brunt of an economy under pressure. Cotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli says workers under collective bargaining agreement will push for wage adjustments to caution themselves against the rising cost of living.
We expect His Excellency the President on 1st of May to increase the minimum wage by a certain percentage, of which we are now negotiating with the government.
But even as calls for higher wages grow louder, employers are warning of unintended consequences. The Federation of Kenya Employers says businesses are already grappling with rising operational cost, driven by high fuel prices. The Federation warns that increasing wages across the board could trigger a ripple effect, pushing up the cost of goods and services even further.
You cannot go to one sector of the economy and say pay more. If they have to pay, then they have to see how to pass on that cost to their consumers or the general public. So in the end, you push up the entire cost. So perhaps that is not the best solution. It's not a sustainable one. But these are discussions that should be done in a structured way based on concrete data and information.
FKE Executive Director now insists that any discussion on minimum wage must consider broader economic factors, including business sustainability, productivity, and the survival of small and medium enterprises.
In FKE's view, all these factors should be taken into consideration before the country says that yes, we should increase wages, because employers have to make that money from somewhere, and at the end of the day, the very people we are trying to protect actually end up facing a situation which is worse. So in our view, there should be structured dialogue. We call for balanced and a consultative approach to this issue to see how we can support both employers and employees. And the Federation is committed to this kind of dialogue for us to arrive at a fair and sustainable solution.
As the cost of living continues to bite, many now turn their attention to May 1st, hoping that a minimum wage increase could offer much needed relief. Susan Waweru, NTV, Nairobi.